A warm welcome to the world today. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Here's what's coming up within the half hour. US President Donald Trump ends his visit to the UK with a technology prosperity deal with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu denies Israel's link to the assassination of American activist Charlie Kirk. Plus, ahead of the UN General Assembly, Secretary General Antonio Guterres warns about the world being at its most fragile point in decades. Let's begin the world today. We begin with the US President Donald Trump and the UK Prime Minister signing a technology deal with major US tech firms, pledging tens of billions of pounds in UK investment. Mr. Starmer says the deal has the power to change lives, while President Trump says it will ensure the UK and the US lead the next technological revolution side by side. Both men addressed a press conference after signing the deal this afternoon as President Donald Trump rounded off his visit to the UK.
The UK is one of the world's largest economies. Maybe not quite on the scale of the United States, I concede, but my word, we punch above our weight. And we lead the world in expertise on quantum, on AI, life sciences, financial services and more. We have the only trillion-dollar tech sector in the West, outside of the US, again, a caveat. We have the best investment, the best universities, the most Nobel Prizes, and we have Dennis here, outside the US. That's what we bring to the table. And we are proud of it. That's why we both benefit from this incredible relationship. In a moment, the President and I will sign our groundbreaking new technology partnership, the Tech Prosperity Deal. It's a blueprint to win this new era together, shape it according to our shared values, and seize the incredible opportunities that are on offer. I want to thank all of you for supporting this vision. We have huge new investments from NVIDIA, Nscale, OpenAI, Google, Salesforce, and many more, backing cutting-edge British jobs for years to come.
Was the number. In May, the United Kingdom became the first country to make a trade deal with the United States during my second term, and we sort of wanted to make it the first because the bond is so strong and the relationship so long. American company X Energy and British company Centrica has been announcing, and really for a long while they've been talking about this deal, the deployment of modular nuclear reactors across the UK, all across the UK. It's been in the wind for a couple of years, and now we're getting it done, generating more than $50 billion in economic value, creating up to 2,500 jobs and powering 1.5 million homes. That's a lot of homes. 7 decades after British genius Alan Turing pioneered the field, this agreement will also help America and our British allies dominate the future of artificial intelligence. You need the energy. You have to have the energy. That's one thing I learned very quickly. They need a lot of electricity. In the United States, you need double what we have right now just to maintain that fight. We're right now, and I want to say, leading China and the world by a lot in AI, a lot.
Mr. President, it's
Both leaders also answered questions on varying topics, especially on the Russia-Ukraine war. The US president said Russia's President Vladimir Putin let him down, even though he claims he has been able to solve 7 wars that were unsolvable and could not be negotiated since taking office. With NATO's commitment to spending 5% of its GDP on defense in a summit in June, President Trump says he believes the war in Ukraine will be the easiest to end. This, he says, is because of his relationship with the Russian president. He commended the UK Prime Minister for doing a great job and that the US and the UK will always be together. Now, regarding recognizing a Palestinian state, The UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, said the question of recognition needs to be seen, but his guest, President Trump, said, "I have a disagreement with the Prime Minister on that score." Neither attempted the question effectively. About renewable energy, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said there is need for a pragmatic approach and that will be some time before the use of oil and gas be phased out in the UK. Trump said his policy of drill baby drill has helped the US deal with its inflation problem. Answering questions on persuading the Israeli Prime Minister to stop action in Gaza, President Trump said he wants the war in Gaza to end, but wants the hostages seized on October 7, 2023, to be returned. While the men have been engrossed in global issues, the female senior members of the royal family have been hosting the U.S. First Lady. Earlier today, the Princess of Wales and Melania Trump hosted scouts in the grounds of Windsor Castle. Princess Catherine organized a packed lunch for the children, containing sandwiches made from honey from her Norfolk home. The 20 squirrel scouts had been taking part in nature activities within the gardens of Frogmore House to earn their Go Wild badges. Chief Scout Dwayne Fields told the BBC he chatted throughout the event with the First Lady and the Princess of Wales. Well, this came after Mrs. Trump joined Queen Camilla on a tour of Windsor Castle's Royal Library and to see the Queen Mary doll's house before inspecting some of the miniatures made especially for the world's largest dollhouse.
It's designed to be a private royal residence for Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth.
Usually all things I always launch gets inside.
Yeah.
I looked at
The marble, right? And it has to work.
yes.
When was the start of this house? When was this finished? 1924. All of it? Was it 24? 1924.
Away from the visits to the UK by the US President, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has strongly denied allegations linking his country to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. In a recorded video played on Israeli media, Netanyahu quoted Nazi Germany's chief propagandist, Joseph Goebbels, saying the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. He called Kirk a century talent who defended freedom, claiming that he had received a personal letter from him months ago.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization. He encouraged me to make the case directly to the American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. Now, if Charlie disagreed with a policy of mine or a decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of Charlie. This is the essence of a free country. It's exactly what Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people. A few weeks before his death, I spoke to Charlie. I invited him to visit Israel again. And sadly, that won't happen. Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this: Charlie Kirk was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing.
It's been a year since South Africa took Israel to the International Court of Justice. Now, a United Nations Commission of Inquiry has concluded that Israel committed genocide in Gaza, accusing top officials, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, of incitement. Meanwhile, at the third annual activist symposium in Johannesburg, some delegates told our South Africa correspondent, Innocent Samosa, the trade restrictions, sanctions, and divestment campaigns remain powerful tools to hold governments accused of atrocity crimes accountable.
We're from South Africa, and we know what sanctions did to us. There were massive global boycotts, and we've got a global boycott, divestment, and sanction campaign. And I'd encourage people to go to the BDS website. There's a targeted campaign that is being run. Products like Coca-Cola, we need to be boycotting. We need to be boycotting Pepsi, McDonald's, Starbucks. But at a trade level, there is this complicity that we as South Africans continue to have, which is where we are sending coal to Israel. Additionally, we still haven't closed the embassy, and we know that Parliament has voted to close the embassy, and that is absolutely insane. So when you go to the Israeli embassy, there's still the flags flying. Of course, the ambassador is no longer here, but the embassy is still open, which is problematic, and that needs to shut. We need to say to Israel, we have no normal relationships with you while genocide is still being committed.
Polish President Karol Nawrocki visited Berlin amid rising tensions between Poland and Russia. More than a dozen Russian drones entered Polish airspace from neighboring Ukraine and Belarus last week. Several were shot down. Poland urgently needs the help and solidarity of its NATO partners, not least from Germany. For more on this, we are joined now by the DW's Hans Brandt in Berlin. Hans, thanks for joining us on the program. What is Germany doing to assist Poland?
Well, Germany has just announced that it will station additional aircraft, military aircraft in Poland to help bring down drones and missiles. And there are some Patriot air defense systems from Germany that have been stationed in Poland for a couple of years already. And we can assume that there are also military military assistance in the background that is not being announced formally, probably in terms of intelligence, border control, that sort of thing. The two countries really need each other's help. They have an extensive economic relationship, and really they need each other to protect their economies, not least of all.
And are there fears that Russia might continue with military moves beyond Ukraine?
Yes, indeed, there are. In fact, there was a Russian drone that entered Romania in the south of the NATO territory just a couple of days ago. And there are almost daily incidents further in the north around the Baltic Sea with Russian aircraft. And that's really the area where countries such as Latvia and Estonia are especially concerned about Russian aggression, because they are such small countries facing such a huge neighbor. After the intrusion of the Russian drones, Poland, as a NATO member, asked for special consultations by NATO, and as a result, NATO has now decided to increase its eastern defense line all the way from the Arctic Circle in north, where there are Norway and Finland, to the south, to the Black Sea and Romania.
Hans, despite all the German solidarity, the Polish president is still quite critical of Germany. Why is that?
Well, the background to this is really history, is the Second World War. During the Second World War, Nazi Germany committed a large number of its war crimes, of its atrocities on Polish territory. That included the murder of millions of Jews. That was also done in Poland. And of course, tens of thousands of Poles lost their lives, and large parts of Poland were laid to waste. So as a result of this, nationalist populist politicians such as the Polish president continue to demand that Germany should pay reparations for those war crimes 80 years ago. Germany has said that it has a moral responsibility towards Poland to atone for those crimes, but it also says that legally those claims have been laid to rest by a number of treaties that have been signed over the past few decades. But in fact, what the Polish president is doing is not really talking to Germany in this matter, but he's talking to his own supporters in Poland. In the end, he also acknowledges that Germany and Poland really need each other now in the face of Russian aggression.
Thanks again, Hans. We're off on a short break now on The World Today. Still ahead. On World Ozone Day, the Lagos State government warns residents on some electronic appliances. Please stay with us. Welcome back. As the UN prepares for the General Assembly next week, President of the 80th session, Annalena Baerbock, says this year's theme will guide the work of session. Briefing journalists on Wednesday, Ms. Baerbock said this year's priorities include advancing UN 80 reform agenda, strengthening the organization's effectiveness, and guiding the selection of the next Secretary General. She also highlighted the need to build on the Pact for the Future and regain momentum on the SDGs.
Beginning of the opening of the 80th session last week, I spoke on the theme that will be guiding my presidency, Better Together. This theme reflects the reality that no single nation, regardless of its size, might, or wealth, can confront the challenges that we face all alone. Our task is to ensure that the UN stands strong for the next 80 years. The processes this year must be our focus. That includes advancing the UN 80 reform agenda, ensuring that the UN becomes more effective and can deliver on its promises. It includes guiding the selection of the next Secretary General, the face and voice of this organization. And it includes building on the Pact for the Future and ensuring its implementation. We need to regain momentum on the SDGs. Yes, we are at a crossroads, a make or break moment. But this is precisely when we have to work harder. Our forebears had the humility and grace to put aside their differences and work together in 1945. We need that same principles conviction today.
Back here in Lagos State, the government has warned residents and technicians against using ozone-depleting gases in refrigerators and other cooling equipment. The General Manager of the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Babatunde Ajayi, made this known during a program to mark this year's World Ozone Day. He urges certified technicians to make use of correct and non-depleting gases to prevent further depletion of the ozone layer.
Officials of the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency set out to create awareness on World Ozone Day and steps that must be taken to protect the environment.
Protect our environment.
They move around the seat of power, Lausa Ikeja, with different descriptions on their placards, and then converge on Adeyemi Bero Auditorium for the 2025 World Ozone Day to deliberate on this year's theme, From Science to Global Action.
The fact that we have a room filled with NARA professionals is a testament to our drive to move from science to global action. Speaking science, talking about climate change and environmental protection and sustainability, ozone layer protection is our work. The action really is going to be carried out by the NARA professionals here in the room.
Nigerian Association of Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Practitioners and other key stakeholders highlight the importance of sustainable practices to drive environmental solutions.
Moving from scientific discovery to global action serves as a powerful reminder of what we can achieve when we work together. It shows that our collective efforts driven by scientific understanding and public awareness, can create profound positive change for our environment.
Nigeria remains committed to working closely with Lagos State and other key stakeholders in ensuring that the Nigerian environment not only sustains but also strengthens its contribution to the global agenda of protecting the ozone layer and building resilience against climate change.
The Lagos State government, as well as the Federal Controller of the Environment and Southwest Director, stated that ozone layer depletion is a global environmental problem and requires a global responsibility to fix it.
The journey from science to global action is a continuous one. For us to achieve more, we need to sustain awareness among the public and the industrial stakeholder. We also need to strengthen enforcement of environmental regulation.
The target of the Montreal is that we should recover the ozone layer back to what it was in 1980. So to do that, there is still need for the academics to do more research, encourage our students to focus on this human impactful area that becomes necessary.
Protecting the environment from ozone-depleting substances is a major task for everyone, and the World Ozone Day serves as a call to action for all stakeholders to protect the planet and support Lagos State government's efforts towards achieving a greener and healthier future.
That's the world today. Thanks for watching. I'm Amarachi Ubani.